am Sheila Walsh, Program Coordinator of the Radio Humber Diploma Program here at Humber College. Welcome to On the Radio, a Webisode feature where we speak with industry experts and Humber alumni on all things radio. Thank you, guys. We're doing another webisode of On the Radio, and today our special guest speaker here in class was Mr. Steve Parsons, who I have you as one title, and I know our students have you as another, and I'm sure they're amalgamated, but Operations Manager or National Director of Programming for Newcap, GM of 93.5 The Move and Boom 97.3. Which one do you like better?
I like the GM one.
Okay, very good. So you came in to talk to the class who you can't see, but you guys are 2 weeks away. There's some terror, there's some happiness, but you came in to talk about programming and your journey specifically, and maybe some hints. So you discovered radio in the 80s going to BCIT?
Well, yeah, actually, no, I discovered it at CITR at UBC. So
UBC, okay.
I just caught the bug by volunteering, and as soon as I got out of university, because I realized that my degree wasn't going to get me anywhere, I decided to go to BCIT and take the 2-year program
and take the 2-year program. And you were studying urban geography, which I don't even know, where does that get you?
Apparently you could become an urban planner.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, good. So your journey took you to On the Air, and we'll get to that specific thing, because I think that was really good, but then to really an entire career of programming.
Yeah.
But some of the things you hit on for the class were the following. So just kind of go with the flow and tell me what these mean to you again. Connection gold.
Oh, yeah. Every time you get into a radio station environment, whether it's on a volunteer basis or if you're employed doing some menial task that only lets you come to work to be paid once or twice a week, get into that radio station and make a connection with somebody in there who is going to reach out and give you a hand up. This business is so small that you run into these same people over and over and over again, and you never know when you're going to actually need them to either get you that next job or find you that next talent that's going to take your station to the next level. Just get in and get noticed. Don't be a wallflower. Kill it in there. Get in people's face. We love individuals who are craving that next thing, and especially don't give up on the opportunity to take something that you can do for free. I know that sounds like we're using you, but we are, and it's always been that way. It never changes, but it makes an absolute impression on the managers who you're working for.
And not even doing it for free, but going above and beyond your job description, right? Like
Absolutely.
Just kind of realizing that there's more to
it. Be
it.
thirsty. Be hungry.
And that kind of dovetails into the next thing, which you said, ask for the next opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, every single opportunity I've ever received in this business has come as the result of me asking for it, or at least telling people what I'm after in advance, so that when the opportunity comes, they think of me. Every single job from when I got my music director job at Rock 101, it came as a result of me reaching out to a guy who didn't even have a job available. I got my first PD job in Winnipeg because I had said when I was music director at Rock 101 that I wanted to be a PD someday, and so when that opportunity came up, they thought of me. And same goes for the job I'm in right now. All the way along through when I was operations manager at Boom and the Move, I had said in my performance evaluations, I think someday I'd like to be a GM, and so if that opportunity comes available, please think of me.
It's just kind of blow that trumpet every so often.
It never stops.
You talked about all the jobs. So you've moved 7 times.
Yeah.
The first time, I believe you were saying you jumped in your 72 Beetle and went...
Super Beetle.
Super Beetle.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
They're a little bigger.
Oh, okay. And you went from hometown of Vancouver to Trail, BC. Population, I looked it up, 7,709, maybe a little less when you were there.
Yeah.
So you were talking to the class about the fear of uprooting and not to be afraid, but to jump right in.
Yeah. You're going to end up, when you go to these small market stations, because it's so terrible at the beginning, doing everything you can to busy yourself at work. And what I said to the class earlier was you just got to go in there and get some reps in on your talent, because you come out of school pretty green. You don't necessarily have the skill set you really need to get that next big job, so you need to go into that small market and make mistakes. And I can't say enough about making mistakes in all elements of the business. Make mistakes in the creative department. Make mistakes as a music director. Make mistakes on remote, on air. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I backsold a record in trailer. At the time we were playing 45s, and a song would end and I'd start talking, and then I'd forget that the pot was up and the needle would go across the vinyl that's not playing anything, and then jump and start playing the label. And if you're not familiar with that sound, it's something like which kind of interrupts your flow when you're on the air. So, there are millions of ways to screw up in this business, and the more opportunities you give yourself to make that happen, the better you will become. And what I say is it frees up so much time in your brain. If you become good at the technical side of the business, answering calls, editing calls, opping the board, it frees up a ton of time to be creative, and that's when you can really start to crank it out and be successful.
Cool. You mentioned a little story, and I have a similar one where you said you don't want to do country radio. No. You had no interest in being country. You're never going to work for country radio. You ended up programming it. I ended up working for it. So you never say never, right?
No.
So your point to the class was don't let the format dictate the opportunity. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. It's because the fundamentals of our business are the same no matter what format you work in. And you actually will end up being surprised by the interesting things you'll learn. Like country, for instance, I didn't even understand the whole concept of how songs were written in country and how how Nashville worked. How artists would live in Nashville and all they would do is write music and try and get holds on a George Strait record or a Tim McGraw record, and that end of the music business, because I'd always been a massive fan of the music business, but I'd always just kind of like, yeah, country, who cares? They're incredibly talented and incredibly friendly. Like you get a country artist in your radio station, they'll do anything for you. And I probably saw, I don't even know how many, probably 25 or 30 live performances in our studio by massive heavyweights of the country business, and they were all incredibly nice and just outrageously talented. So I came to love the format. I didn't take a lot of it with me when I left, probably just Keith Urban maybe, but I loved it while I was in it.
I was just going to say the fans, the audience, unbelievably loyal. Loyal, crazy.
We put on a concert down in Sunnyside Park as Country 95.3. Country 95.3 didn't ever end up doing very well. It had a massive cume, had the largest cume for country radio in Canada. But we put on a free show, and we'd had a Paul Brandt headline, and we had 35,000 people down there coming in to see Paul Brandt. It was free, but still, that's a lot of people.
A lot of people. For those interested in programming, and it's not going to be something they do right out of school, but what should they be doing now, other than being vocal, looking for the opportunity? What skills should they be building on as they,
Yeah, I actually would say that you can do it right out of school, because when I went to Trail, the first thing I said to the program director was, I want to be a music director. So teach me how to be a music director. And then the other thing is volunteer to be on every single committee, ask to be in every meeting. Like there's, in our programming meeting today, we have, probably 8 or 9 people in every meeting, because I want people to learn the craft. And I also want to get outside thinking into the mix too. So, if you have a good manager, he will want you there. Or she, yes. Good point. Yes, I was speaking about myself.
That's right. He will want you there,
yes. So I would say just, and just be inquisitive. I mean, I can't say it enough. Ask questions and show interest. And if you have a good manager, he or she will pay it back.
Excellent. To end, I pulled 2 quotes out of your talk to the class. So you can pick which one you want to elaborate on. If you aren't prepared to treat radio as a lifestyle, get out. You have to love it. Or it's not about the finances. It's about the experience.
No, it's the lifestyle. Lifestyle is my favorite, because I tell that to every single person that I've come across who's wanting to get into this business. it's not. This is not a job. This is a 24/7 operation. You're going to work Christmas, and that's going to suck. But get over it because it's part of the business. You're going to get a phone call at 4 o'clock in the morning because the station's off the air. You're going to work in small towns all across this land. You're going to move a whole bunch of times, and I've moved. I've lived in Trail, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Toronto, Vancouver, Toronto, and I look back in the rearview mirror like I'm wearing this Winnipeg Jets jersey today. It was given to me as a going away gift at Power 97 in Winnipeg in 2002 when they didn't have the Jets, and everybody in Winnipeg claimed that they didn't care, but oh my God, did they ever. And so, last night they won their first playoff game in the history of the franchise. And so I have a special place in my heart for a place that I never would have had a special place in my heart had I not worked in radio. And I had to go and live in a city that I didn't think I would enjoy living in for 2 years, and I had the time of my life. So again, it's and the other thing too is try and find somebody, if you're gonna get married, who can put up with the BS of this lifestyle, because that's incredibly important. Like my wife has been an absolute lifesaver for me through this whole process, without question.
Excellent. Steve Parsons, everybody, thank you so much. Cool.